All right. Well, it's Monday, August 30th. Welcome back to another episode of Strategy, Tech, and Food. My name is Jonathan Banks. I'm joined today by Javier Kaitagaratsky and Carl Turner from SwipeBy. We're going to get into our conversation with them in just a moment. But first, we're just going to talk a little bit about some program news and some industry news to get us started this week. So once again, welcome to the Strategy, Tech, and Food Show. This is the restaurant-focused technology show where we talk with leading industry stakeholders and restaurant operators themselves. This show is brought to you by the St. Paul Restaurant Resiliency Program, and I'm Jonathan Banks. Just a few moments, we'll talk to the folks from SwipeBy. But first, let's talk a little bit about some news. So currently in the program, we have 18 restaurants. Two of those restaurants we've talked about quite a bit, and they're starting to wrap up their projects. So we're starting to wrap up projects with Hamburguesas El Gordo and with Caribou Grocer and Deli. We've had a wonderful partnership with professionals volunteering their time from Land O'Lakes to supporting these restaurants in their important digital needs. So look forward to seeing some improvements. I can give you some sneak peeks here, especially on the Caribou side. There's a lot going on in the digital space across websites and ordering that's going to be improved and upgraded there. So it's been a great partnership to see those restaurants and professionals working together, great collaboration. Also coming up this fall, you'll be seeing a program operating in the cultural destinations of St. Paul as well. So the program is, of course, open to any restaurant in St. Paul who has 4 locations or less. We're really focusing on independently owned restaurants. But we're also taking a special interest on the cultural destinations this fall, also looking at areas that were impacted by civil unrest, making sure that the digital support is available to folks who need it there. Some news recalling from last week and earlier this month, August has been Hospitality Appreciation Month. And so we've been really happy to be able to support and recognize our hospitality operators, of course, especially in restaurants, the workers and the operators who have been really putting so much on the line since the pandemic ensued, making sure that folks were able to keep dining, ordering, making sure that dinner was served. We shout out to all the operators and hospitality workforce who's watching the show today. We really appreciate everything you've done. As a token of appreciation, token of gratitude, if you connect with Visit St. Paul, if you go to visitstpaul.com, you can find a gift for you. So Visit St. Paul has through partnerships, they're able to offer you discounts to many restaurants in the Twin Cities. And so that's offered through the Chinook Book partnership through Visit St. Paul. So if you're an operator or a member of hospitality workforce, go ahead and take advantage of that perk. It's special for you. And we really appreciate everything that you have done for all of us, along with Ramsey County, Visit St. Paul, and Next. We really appreciate that. So go ahead and take advantage of that perk. If you're an operator and you're looking for some assistance in getting some jobs posted, please go to nostressshospitality.com. That's a website put together by the St. Paul Restaurant Resiliency Program that will provide you templates to be able to post positions for your restaurant. So you don't need to be a HR professional wizard to be able to put a job description together. Go to this website, get some help. Put your job description together using one of the templates, and right there you'll see a link. If you click on that link, it will take you to the Ramsey County Future Finders website, which on that website you post the job that you have, and then that's where hospitality workforce is going to be going to look for jobs in Ramsey County. So it's a really good partnership and a really good way for you to find a no stress way of posting jobs, because we know, hey, we're all looking for good workers these days. So why don't we move on to talking with the folks from SwipeBy? How are y'all doing today?
Great. Thank you, Jonathan, for having us. I really appreciate it. Let me say that you did a great job with my last name. There's nothing to hide there. Very, very difficult last name I have, so I appreciate.
Jonathan,
keep practicing.
Thanks for having us. Just want to chime in too. Thanks for having us.
Oh, of course. It's really great to have y'all here. You know, we are always looking for new technology or technologies that maybe people haven't been exposed to, especially in our region, to make sure that folks get a good look at what that technology is and how it might work for them. I would just start by asking, you know, SwipeBy, and I hope it could be SwipeB or SwipeBy. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So correct me if you need to.
Right.
What problem are you all solving for the industry right now?
Sure. Well, let me introduce myself and Carl here as well, and we'll go over what problems are we solving. But yeah, like you said, it's SwipeBy, and yeah. So I'm Javier, the sales director here at SwipeBy, and you know we're basically a startup, and we launched before COVID back in 2019. And we really saw exponential growth throughout 2020 and on. And we're currently in 25 states, looking forward to grow in St. Paul area. So our mission is to really enable any restaurant to compete with the large drive-thrus out there, such as the Burger King and McDonald's of the world. And basically, you know, these large chains have the ability and the resources to have any technology stack they want. And our platform will put any operator at the same level of technology. Our ultimate goal, I would say, it's really for the operator to have more repeat customers, to have more sales, drive more sales, and not to really keep paying these high commissions that they have to pay to third-party delivery or third-party aggregators. So, you know, I like Carl Turner. It's actually the CEO and the founder of SwipeBy. So I like to introduce to him now and have him explain a little bit more about how we actually do this and the problems that we resolve for the different restaurants. So with that said, Carl, please take over.
Cool.
Yeah,
well,
thank you, Carl.
Yeah, so thanks, Javier, and thanks, Jonathan. I mean, only thing I have to add to that, right, on the problem is really, it's pre-COVID, we looked at the market, and what we saw was like drive-thrus were killing it already, right, and they kept expanding. What else we saw, especially in suburban markets, right, in the big suburbs of the United States, which is about every city, it's like delivery is not working. It's super expensive at the on. And then the other observation, which actually was, I think, piloted by Target in St. Paul in the Twin City, was curbside pickup. Like we saw Target, Walmart, Publix, all the groceries rolling that thing out, which they call curbside pickup, right? That was pre-COVID. And so really the question that came up, well, you solve a ton of problems with becoming a drive-through, right? Like you solve a ton of problems in takeout with becoming a drive-through, but not every operator has the ability to make a burger in a minute, number one. And second, even if they can make a burger in a minute, generally they don't want to, but if they could, you know, they lack the infrastructure with having window one, having window two, and having a street around them. So the key issue that came about, you know, how can we help any restaurant to compete with McDonald's, with Burger King, with Wendy's, which is half a mile down the road, to compete on that level of convenience?
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, to compete on that level of convenience, and by using this technology with contactless curbside to help do that. And kind of the case that you brought up, I would love to dive more in that data, first of all, because I don't know that a lot of people have uncovered this. You said drive-through was killing it before the pandemic. Can you talk a little bit more about that and what your clue was there?
Yes, I mean, it's not actually drive-through, it's actually like even one beyond. So if you look at McDonald's did in 2017. I mean, McDonald's has been drive-through since they freaking were invented, I think, right? I mean, you watch the movie The Founder or something, and then they edited soon after, right? But it's there for years. But what actually the observation was that in the suburban markets, people are going on by car, right? They're going from place A to place B. And so obviously hopping into a drive-through is a super fast and quick solution. But what actually is even more mind-boggling, especially now that we had, you know, almost 2 years of COVID behind of us, is that the concept of curbside pickup, the concept of cartside pickup, the concept of, I mean, there's multiple names for it, right? Curbside delivery has been not a new concept at all. McDonald's in 2017 invested $6 billion in their mobile ordering, curbside pickup, and kiosk infrastructure to roll that out across all stores. And Chick-fil-A, I would say, probably the holy grail of drive-through operation, right? I mean, they have people at the drive-through with tablets because they're so busy. But because they were so busy and they're getting in trouble with city ordinances because the lines clogged the street, they rolled out aggressively curbside pickup, meaning people order on their app, so they don't need to stay online. They still need to not leave their car. They just pull up. Chick-fil-A knows they are there and they bring the food out. And that was also around in like 2018. And then at the same time, we actually saw the biggest push for curbside outside the restaurant world. And that is in the big box and retail world. And that is when, Walmart is especially as kind of, and you will read, like, it's so funny. You read in like 2018, 17 articles in the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, is curbside pickup the secret sauce against Amazon from Walmart, right? Because these companies started investing like, again, multi-million billions to turn their mega stores into drive-through tools, right? You order ahead, you commute, your Amazon, Whole Foods might be not in the area. Even if it's in the area, it's still freaking 4 hours to 8 hours, how busy they are these days, right? Instacart generally is still 2-3 hours. But if you are driving back from home, if you are driving back from school, if you are picking up kids or just going home from work, pull up at your Walmart, pop up your trunk, you ordered on the app before, they know you are there, or you punch in a number and they put the stuff in the back of your car on your way again. And that was really the inspiration where we said, well, can we build that technology and can we actually build better technology? Because Walmart is not a tech company, we're a tech company. You can build better stuff than Walmart, right? Can we build better technology than Walmart and enable any restaurant to compete on that level?
Yeah.
So that's the stuff most people don't know, right? That is pre-COVID.
Yes, and so customers, you've been tracking how customers have the problem that they don't have time or the desire to go in and sit down. They don't have the time or desire to actually order, to have it delivered to their house. En route, they'd rather pick it up and kind of spend as little time as possible doing that and take it along with them. And I think there's also a little customer behavior that you're keying in on here is the customer is taking responsibility by using the app to make sure that they're getting what they want and then being timely about going to pick it up, right? Like if you order it and you're not on time to pick it up, well, you got cold food at, parking spot number 5, that's no good. So there's kind of a trade-off for the customer to prepare a little bit more and make sure that they're there when they're supposed to be there.
Exactly. And I think, again, a lot of technology can solve that, right? We can inject orders based on, is it a coffee or is it a burger? Coffee may take 5 minutes, customers 10 minutes away, don't want to tell the coffee shop to make the coffee, right? Why would you tell them that, right? Like that just already is pre-made trouble. Again, technology can solve for that. But I think also, was also the advantage here was the pickup experience. And again, we're talking primarily the suburban commuter markets, right? Where people still drive. Not only is it more convenient, but also is, as a customer, delivery can take forever. It's super unpredictable. And then when the food is cold, you are angry because it was the driver. The restaurant is also angry because you call now the restaurant saying your food was cold. The restaurant, well, sorry, Uber driver wasn't here 5 times, right? Or something like that, or got stuck in traffic, or was actually batched and had, 5 steps before. In a drive-through transaction, AKA a curbside transaction, that virtually can't happen, right? So you will always have a pretty timely time off. And then again, talking about, and we get already a little bit in the solution here, but talking about solution, right? I mean, obviously we let the guest know on behalf of the restaurant if they are too early. Look, you're too early, 10 minutes to wait, right? I mean, that is a really clear UI choice, how you can communicate to that customer. So if the customer is too early, it doesn't fall on the restaurant. And if the customer is too late, well, I was in traffic, tough luck, right? And even there, we can optimize some things with technology, but it's again, then it doesn't fall back generally on the restaurant as a bad experience, where in delivery, it does.
Yeah, because the customer owns that part and they've chosen to do it by getting the app and all of that sort of stuff. And okay, so let's talk about the solution a little bit, because the thing that's interesting to me that I want to figure out, and I think it's might be part of your secret sauce, is the geofence capability and how you can kind of know where folks are at in relation to how their food. I think you alluded to that. If the customer is 10 minutes away, fire up their coffee 5 minutes from now, right? So exactly. I want to talk about that. I know that you're doing web ordering, virtual menu, promotions, coupons, and remarketing programs with it. Maybe if we could start by this relationship with the customer and how your technology really works best for them.
Yeah. So, Yeah, and let me actually start with the points you just mentioned, right? So in the end, what we are is, and we involved obviously with COVID, we are growing, we are building new technology every week, releasing new features. Some of them, the operator, the restaurant will understand or will know about. The other one is only customer facing. And then there's a bunch of stuff that just happens in the back and no one knows about, right? I mean, hopefully they know somehow because something got better, but it's not really obvious. But so what we are really is we call ourselves a turnkey solution. And so, and we call ourselves also, throwing a bunch of buzzwords out here, a 360 platform. So what that means is that we actually handle a bunch of things, right? So as you mentioned, we do web ordering, which, there is a billion, gazillion other platforms out there, but it's the concept of you as an operator can process orders through every website traffic you receive. And if that website traffic comes through Facebook, Instagram, Google, or your website, you want to convert that traffic into an order without having drop off through the phone. We have a plugin that you can push in on your website, on Google, on Facebook, and by that can convert those orders. On top of that, we obviously have full menu management, being able, you can 86 items, adjust items, add multiple menus, can be super granular with modifiers, no matter how complex your menu is or not, you can handle it. And then on top of that, what we're really proud of, we do a lot actually on marketing, and we're doing it for free. And that means exactly retargeting of customers, right? I think a lot of restaurants and operators these days, and then I will come to our secret sauce, but they understand in today's world, that understanding, like having customer data is important, right? Most of them understand that today. Everyone knows having emails and so on is important, but like, great, now you have a list, and now what do? You sign up with MailChimp, you put it up there, you get a texter, you get a designer to send an email, then you come up with a campaign, then you compare opening rates, then you A/B test it. No operator would ever do that, right? Then you can, and most of the solutions out there are only they provide the tech to do that. There's not really the solution who automates that. And so one other thing that we are doing is we actually do all the retargeting campaigns and automation campaigns with all the customer data we are absorbing that we do share with the restaurant. So the restaurant owns the data, but we crunch the data and try to our best ability to turn that into more orders and traffic. And we even give discounts and coupons that we are paying. But again, there's probably another handful of companies who also do that. And then what really sets us apart is what you alluded to is actually exactly using the power of location and geofencing to understand as an operator, and we as a platform are the intermediary for that, where is your customer at any given time? And where we're using this primarily right now, again, is in the curbside transaction. So if you think about right now, general curbside transactions, how they're done normally is you ordered online somewhere or over the phone, but often quite online. There actually is a curbside button. You might even give your car information, but now you pull up at the restaurant. For you as a consumer, now as the guest, what that means is you either noted down the telephone number that was somewhere written online, or the restaurant, had to work to laminate a parking sign with a phone number on it that you can barely read though right now anymore because it has been out there since May last year.
Or how about Minnesota when the snow plows snow over it?
Exactly. Like there's snow over it. Like the restaurant put up a little tent outside, even with the POS system, and the waiters are freezing, being on lookout for you, or you got a horn, or that's how it's done today, right? And it's painful on the consumer side, but it's also really painful on the restaurant side because it means phone line rings. You are taking care right now of a customer inside. You have 10 seconds to pick up the phone. That's crappy, right? One of the person will lose right now, either the person inside or the person outside. And so what we are doing, again, we're geofencing the customer, and by that letting the customer know, we let you know, hey, Jonathan, you just arrived outside of Frankie's Pizza, outside of Carl's Schnitzels, right? You arrived outside of Carl's Schnitzels, and a waiter will be out shortly, right? So we give you a notification and an understanding, okay, I'm here, that, which is super important in the experience. And then on the restaurant, yeah, go ahead.
If I may add, we actually first, we go up to the point where we let them know what kind of car is it, where are they parked, and Carl will talk more about, the geofence capability. But one thing that, really, I think, differentiate ourselves in terms of convenience for the guest is that, if we think about it happens to me several times when I'm with the kids in the car, or maybe I'm on a work phone call, and this type of convenience that a lot of people really got used through COVID, just stay in the car instead of having to go out there, maybe like we were talking about, not being able to actually make the phone call or send the message because of the examples that I'm giving. I wanted to bring that up because this is part really, in my opinion, of the digital transformation that many operators are following, the large chains. And this digital transformation that it's needed for what is happening right now and will continue to happen in our industry. So I wanted to just make that comment, to give up a couple examples on where we see that a lot of people are getting used to this convenience, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it's going away. It keeps us safe too, right?
Exactly. That's
convenient
exactly.
and safe. Yeah.
And I think, to Javier's point is you can add on top of that, right? And that's exactly what the curbside stuff, exactly. We do this geofencing, right? That we alluded to. But on top of that, what was an in-store transaction? The in-store pickup transaction, some person might still want to do that, or in a more urban environment. You go in, where's the pickup area? Is it at the end of the bar? Is it at the left? Is it at the right? What we are doing on those transactions, again, we can geofence super granular, right? So we can even geofence inside your store. Depending if you're in a high rise with high steel concrete buildings, then we can't, right? Because we don't know where the customer is. But in a general environment, we know, where are they outside of the restaurant? Are they inside of the restaurant? And we can even, help now you as an operator to facilitate that customer connection. Because again, right on arrival, saying to, hey, Jonathan, your pickup will be ready at the end of the bar. Just go through and look for the bag with your name on it, right? The pickup will be on the right side. Things no other service can really do, and you as an operator can also not do, because you don't know where's Jonathan, where's Javier, where's Carl, right? And again, since we are, tracking the customers on active orders, and obviously only with their consent, and we also do it only all locally. So we, I'm from Germany, I'm European, so GDPR and so on is important. But so we take care that we do all of this, obviously, with the right privacy in place, but we enable now you as an operator to talk with your customer based on where they are, which, is pretty new concept. And the most current impact it does is in curbside pickup.
Yeah. Well, great. I would love to hear. So you said you're in 25 states. What are your operators that you work with saying? Do you have any feedback that you've gotten from operators recently that you'd like to share?
Yeah, a ton. I mean, it's just like I need to pull some quotes out right now. But and I can look some up. But I mean, generally, what we are hearing was our operators. How are they feeling about our solution? I think we have two types, or we have actually three types of operators, but we have two primarily ones. We have the ones who sign up with us pre-COVID and kind of in COVID, right? And what they are really saying is like, we saved them in parts. I mean, we saved operations. We did a massive impact on, and we can talk about pricing in a second too, actually, because that has an impact on that, right? You can save people, but if they have no money afterwards, what good did it do in talking about delivery here? So, we really help to save them with a operations aspect and customer convenience aspect. I would say that's what you hear from them. And I mean, good for them, now they're used to it. So they're really happy with what we do and what we are providing as new solutions. But that's, I think, what you hear from them. And then what you hear from the ones who are signing up now, or, have been signing up in a post-keyword world, is really around, I didn't know curbside could be that easy. I didn't know I don't need to hate curbside. I didn't know my staff does not need to hate curbside, right? I think what we have seen here was, in 2020, virtually every restaurant in the United States adopted curbside pickup, right? But they adopted mandate. And so what, restaurants understand who go on our platform is they are really thankful to first time understand, well, curbside doesn't need to be a complete pain, right? Yeah. And then I think the last one, which all of them combines, which, is I think we're a startup, right? We're a small company, but we're having a bunch of fun and cool people. And, I hope Javier and myself here, somewhat likable.
I like you.
So I think that's great. But I think, working with us generally also has been nice, right? I mean, we're really trying to be, as a small company, leverage the example that if you're a restaurant, you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. Like this, like maybe not in an hour, but within 5 hours, we will make it work that you can jump on a phone with me. And so, that's another thing. We're really trying to be personal. And that's what we hear again from our operators. They really like working with us, right? Sometimes technology breaks. That's meant to happen. But it's very different if you're on a phone line waiting for an operator or for a rep, and then you reach someone who can't barely help, or even if I don't fix it, at least you hear an apology from the CEO, right? I mean, it counts for something. So I think that's another thing, that people really like working with a startup like ours.
Well, awesome. You're making curbside easy. Support is great. That's really great to hear. And there's one point I want to key in on, because we've observed this as well, as as COVID restrictions relaxed, we noticed that there was more attention and investment paid to the restaurant experiences and the curbside started to slip. And that was something that was happening in the industry. And so I would think that you only have so much energy, right? And so if you're going to earn more by having people in the restaurant, that's where you're going to put your energy. But this sounds like you can still have a great curbside experience without expending as much energy as maybe you had to when you started going about it on your own with the text messages to the back kitchen and all that sort of stuff that people were doing. So it's good to have that solution in place. I have so many more questions to talk about here. We don't have enough time to go through them all. Why don't you talk a little bit about pricing? Just take a minute or two and talk about how you price out your solution.
Perfect. Yeah. And I think just adding to the last point, I think, one thing which is really important, no restaurant should do 100% curbside. No restaurant should do 50% curbside. You should probably get a cloud kitchen and honestly run it through delivery, right? We love our restaurants because we can dine in, because we can interact. But the part, what we're really saying as well, curbside competing with drive-thrus, offering that level of convenience for the parents with kid buckled up car, for the person, who has troubles walking around, for whatever reasons, for the person who's just on a rush or on a phone, or for the person who, for quite some time will try to avoid contactless, right? Try to avoid contact with people. You want to have a solution in place. And exactly, we want to be that solution. And I think are that solution that does that without you really need to think about it, right? That's the whole point. It doesn't need to be a pain point. And we're also really affordable solution. So coming to our pricing, what our pricing is we're actually only charging 1.8% and 18 cents per transaction. So that's really our just baseline cost. On top of that, we obviously have standard credit card processing fees, which is like the 2.9% plus 30 cents. But so we only have like a really, really small commission. With that, we have no sign-up fees. We don't have any monthly commitments. If you're a restaurant, want to leave anytime, you can do that. And we're really trying to have something which is pay as you go, is not these, okay, I'm giving you, something for $150 a month, but you need to commit to 1 year, to 2 years, and need to wire me out of the gate, $3,000 or something, which there's a lot of other services, or the services who say, I'm bringing you a bunch of new customers, but like we're charging you 15% now for the pickup order, right? Which most of the marketplace delivery players are out there. And then what they do is they put a Google ad. So if you go Google, Carl Schnitzel place, it comes super first. I mean, I don't want to bash them too much, but you know what I'm talking about. So so we are having a super simple, again, 1.8%, 18 cents per transaction, pay as you go pricing with no other commitments and no upfront fees.
The other thing I would add, if I can jump in for a sec, it's, we have helped many customers because, the ultimate goal, it's really, because of our business model, is to drive more sales through the customer's website, right? So, we help customers. Maybe there were a lot of customers using social media, but maybe not having an online ordering menu attached to their Facebook or their Instagram. And, we'll help them with that, to set that up basically. So that's, I think it's a way to, start migrating some of these orders that maybe are going through Ubers and or going through DoorDash and GrabHub to your restaurant, right? And start saving on commission. And then on the other hand, we find so many people that were actually wanting to order from delivery, but then the cost it's associated with ordering from delivery for the guest, it's also higher. So they prefer to maybe just drive maybe 3 minutes, right? You drive 3 minutes, you do the curbside thing, right? While you're on the phone, and then that's it. It's a much seamless, convenient. It's much more convenient for the guest as well. And that's where what the operator needs to see with our technology, that they will start seeing in order to drive more sales through their site.
Javier Katargritsky and Carl Turner from SwipeBy, thank you so much for joining us. Could you hang on just for a second?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Great. Awesome.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah. And thanks for everybody who tuned in this week. And if you're watching the replay of this, thanks for checking us out again. We're actually going to take next week off because it's Labor Day here in the United States. So the next time we'll see you is September 30th at 10:30 a.m. Central Time. Thanks so much.